Welcome to the SaaStock How-to series, in which we aim to answer questions posed by our community. I'm Alex Thumer, CEO of SaaStock, which helps SaaS companies get traction, grow, and scale through our community, conferences, and content. And today I'm joined by our very first ever sponsor, Nick Franklin, founder and CEO at ChartMogul. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, Alex. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. It's been a while. The last time we met was in person in Dublin last October, and you don't look like you're in Dublin now.
No, I'm in Seoul here in South Korea. Yeah, I wish I was going to be flying to Dublin next month, but sadly not. But we'll see each other in person soon enough.
I certainly hope so. So Nick, the question posed by our community is how to define your company's values. So keen to know how ChartMogul went about defining your company values.
Sure. Well, I guess I can speak to my experience, our experience here at ChartMogul, because it's the first and only time I've ever done that exercise. And so I'll talk about that, a little bit of a story about that. We defined our value. I think there were about 20 people when we started to say, okay, let's try and write this down. So it's not something, some people do it super early, some people didn't. But you have sort of, by the time you're 20 people, and we're probably about a couple of years old by then, you have unspoken values, right? Like people kind of know roughly what they are, what people care about, or what the company, you're more focused on product, or you're more focused on sales and marketing. It's kind of like these things are there inherently, but we hadn't written them down. So we're like, okay, let's write them down. And the way we did it is we have an annual offsite every year. Sadly, not this year. That's highly sucks. But every year we usually do it. And every year it's got better and better, more exotic or something like that. Where we fly everybody in. We're a remote company, about 44 people now, and they're all spread all over the world. So we fly everyone in once a year, rent out hotel, and do like 2-3 day annual offsite. And the first one that we ever did, where it was we really organized a decent event, was in Potsdam, which is outside of Berlin, where we have our headquarters. So this saved on that. We were a bit smaller, didn't do something so exotic. The year after we did Croatia, and last year we did Mallorca. So it's getting funner and funner. And this year we were planning Lisbon. But this is a really cool event, and we had it as one of our agenda items, is to kind of come out of that offsite with our values kind of defined, or at least have done the work to get it to a place where they could be defined. And it's a few years ago. Now it's more than 3 years ago. But the way we did, I think, before the offsite, ahead of the offsite, everybody was invited to fill out an anonymous Google form or type form or something like that, where they would input their suggestions for company values. And then we did a session where we came to our offsite in Potsdam, this hotel, and we're in this hotel conference room, meeting room or something. We printed out, we'd had printed out each value on one sheet of A4 or something, and we pinned them all up on the wall. And then we just gave everybody, all the team members, some stickers. So they would have a certain number of stickers. And then they went around and just placed their stickers on the values that they cared about. So I'm not sure what rules we put in. Can they put more than one sticker per value? But at the end of it, it was fairly, we could see which ones were more popular and which ones, didn't get any stickers and things like that. And so the ones that got stickers, where it was clear that these are popular, we kind of tried to group them in themes. Like if there was something like, empathy and kindness was kind of similar themes. So let's put those together. If it's excellence and, perfectionism or something, whatever those things were, there's kind of similar pursuit of excellence, so kind of put them into these themes and buckets. And then we wanted to have it, maximum of 5, so we kind of remember them, 5 fingers, top of your head. And I think, I'm not sure if it was purely democratic, or if myself as the founder or the leadership team, so it doesn't have to be purely democratic, but I think it was almost democratic. I think some companies, it's, the leadership team goes and does an offsite and they just decide what the values are. Ours was more collaborative. It was more like we get input from everybody, and maybe I kind of steer it a little bit, and there's some values I really cared about, like this has to be one. But in the end, we ended up, with these, picking basically based on, popularity, but I think I was also pretty happy with that as well. I didn't really feel actually, we can't do that, but so we kind of got the input from everyone, got votes on those inputs, and then sort of clustered them and chose like these words. And it turned out that it's spelled like, it's 5, it's E-I-E-I-O. So it's easy to remember. It's like the nursery rhyme, or the song, whatever it is. So it spells out like excellence, impact, empathy, E-I-E, integrity, and ownership. So this is like, so even I didn't prepare for this topic by looking at our values. We have this easy way to remember. Anyone can remember it quite easily. Even though I have my own problem. So this is how we went about the process. But that's just, creating the set of values, and then we try to create some stories about them and some subtext. Like, what does this actually mean? What does excellence mean? What does that mean to us? And then how do we know if we're sort of living that value, right? Impact, what does that mean?
And do you have it as with the words like excellence, impact? Is it your value is that one word, or have you created, as you say, like a sentence to describe what that value means?
Yeah, we have a paragraph that goes along with each one, to kind of clarify exactly what it means. And it's good to refer back to it during key things like hiring, and when we kind of assess, like, we kind of look at ourselves and look at performance and individuals, and kind of and hiring and promoting and these things. It's kind of like if someone's living those values of ownership. It's like ownership is like, if I don't do, if not me, then who, right? If I don't do it, who will, right? So it's like kind of taking ownership and kind of being willing to take responsibility for things. It's kind of ownership in a way is not a word for responsibility, right? Are we pursuing excellence? Do we sweat every little detail, or we just kind of cut corners? So it's like, these are kind of the things we look at when we kind of assess the work that we do, or if we're making a new hire, we want to ideally see signs that, they're really pushing for creating the very best product, or the very best service, or going above and beyond. That they really care about their work. They care about trying to do their best. So.
Was this the first time that you set values for a company?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I did work in previous companies, but I was not, either they didn't have values set, or I was not part of the team that had input onto that process. Yeah.
Going into that exercise then for the first time, was there certain people that you leaned to ask how do you set values, or certain books that you read going into it so that you understood what you needed to do on the offsite?
I don't know. I mean, I can't remember. I think, we probably read some blogs about how to what you should use, like how it's useful and why it's a good idea to do it. But this book, I'm reading a book recently, Traction, which is like EOS, and they talk about having values. But there was other books I read back then that also mentioned the importance of this and why it's important to set company core values. I think at the end of the day, you're just going to have to decide for yourself, like what's right for your business, what feels right. You know, like some people do it just for leadership team. But if you're small and just getting started, you don't really have a well-rounded leadership team, maybe it's better just to include, you know, all the employees, right, to make them feel included and part of the building the company. And that's nice too. You know, especially if you feel like the people that you've hired are kind of already roughly in line with you as the founder's values. So sorry about that. Yeah, that's how we just did it, what felt right for us at the time. And luckily, they've been fairly timeless. We haven't felt the need to change them, which is good.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question, because well, I read Traction, and then probably 2 years ago, we set our first company values. We set 7 of them, but this year we went through it again, and now we've kind of refined it down to 4. But yeah, so I guess you answered the question. If you set them 3 years ago, do they still hold true? Are you thinking of like, do we need to set new values, or they still fit?
I think it's a good idea to review them. I don't think you should be afraid of changing them. I think that's, you know, that's one important thing about, you know, one important thing about being a startup, or at least agile. I don't like the word agile. It's a pretty loaded word, but of being a dynamic startup company, is that you should not fear change. And if you feel like you could improve the values or tweak them or change them, then just, you know, you should go for it. So I think probably healthy for us to actually review them. It's been three and a half years or something. So that would probably be a good thing for us to do. But I feel like they're still, like, you know, they're still about right. We haven't felt the need to do it, because they feel about right. But that's probably, you know, you know, a lot of other companies might feel the need to tweak them, and we may tweak them in the future as well. You know, so, but yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for answering this question on the SaaStock How-to series of how to define your company values. Really appreciate you sharing with our community. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you at a SaaStock, or, you know, whether it's online or in person at some point in the near future.
I can't wait. It's my favorite. It's like the 0.9 SaaS founders meetup and SaaStock.
And they always happen within a week of each other, pretty much. So
yeah, exactly. As well, yeah. These are the highlights of my year usually. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick Franklin.
Thanks.